In a world that is just obsessed with hustle culture, long hours, and these rigid 5-year plans, the book ReWork is like a breath of fresh air. It was written by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansson, the founders of Basecamp, and what they do is they basically take that old corporate playbook and they just throw it right out the window. Instead, what they offer is a simpler, a smarter, and honestly, a more human way to get things done.
So in this explainer, we're going to unpack the core kind of game-changing ideas from ReWork. We're going to cover their unique take on strategy, how they redefine productivity, why having fewer resources can actually be a good thing, and what it really takes to build a culture that means something.
Now, ReWork isn't your typical business book. I mean, there's no jargon, there are no dense theories. It's short, it's sharp, and it's right to the point, challenging you to question pretty much everything you thought you knew about work. It is packed with practical advice that's going to help you work smarter, not harder, no matter what your role is.
Okay, so where do we start? Well, we start with one of the biggest sacred cows in business, the long-term plan.
ReWork kicks things off with a really bold claim. Planning is just guesswork. Now, this is a direct shot at the traditional 100-page business plan, and it's absolutely central to their entire philosophy.
I mean, let's be honest, right? Most business plans are built on these shaky foundations, just assumptions about a future that nobody can predict. ReWork argues that instead of trying to predict what's going to happen, we should focus on adapting to it. I mean, think about it. How many startups have wasted months on a detailed plan only to have the market shift completely? The real key here is to be nimble, to make decisions on the fly, and to embrace the chaos.
So, if planning is out, what's in? Well, ReWork has a lot to say about productivity. And it starts with an idea that feels really simple, but is just incredibly powerful in practice.
We've all been there, right? Staying late at the office, feeling busy, but not really getting anything meaningful done. ReWork says that's a trap. Being a workaholic doesn't make you a hero. It just makes you tired.
The key to true productivity, according to the book, is focus. And that means carving out these chunks of uninterrupted time to do what they call deep work. It's all about shutting out the noise, the constant emails, the back-to-back meetings, the temptation to multitask, and just getting into a state of flow where you can actually solve hard problems. And the results? It's not just better work, it's happier, more fulfilled employees.
And speaking of distractions, ReWork has a pretty controversial take on one of the biggest time wasters in the modern workplace.
We've all sat through those pointless meetings that could have easily just been an email. ReWork argues that most meetings are a massive waste of time and they should be replaced with better asynchronous communication, things like clear documentation or quick, direct messages. And this isn't just a theory. Companies like Shopify have even banned meetings on certain days to give their employees time to actually work.
Okay, so we've talked about being more productive with our time, but what about our other resources, like money and people? Well, ReWork has a surprising and pretty inspiring take on this as well.
In a world that's all about growth at all costs, raising huge rounds of funding and scaling as fast as possible, ReWork offers a pretty radical alternative. Embrace your limitations.
Having less money, less time, and fewer people can actually be a secret weapon. So why is that? Because it forces you to be creative, to be resourceful, and to focus only on what's truly important. Just think of all the bootstrap startups out there that have out-innovated their bigger, better-funded competitors. Constraints, they breed breakthroughs.
So, how do you put this less is more idea into practice? ReWork has a simple and honestly very liberating answer.
Don't wait for the perfect moment or for some huge investment. Just start. That's the core message here. They use their own company, Basecamp, as the perfect example. It started as just a simple internal tool for their web design agency, and they just kept making it a little bit better day by day. That's how you build something great, one small, consistent step at a time.
So, we've talked about how to work, but that brings us to a much deeper question. Why do we work? ReWork argues that building a great company isn't just about strategy and tactics. It's about creating a culture that's rooted in passion and authenticity.
So what does that actually look like? Well, first, learn to say no. Just like Apple, focus on doing a few things really, really well. Second, be honest in your marketing. Patagonia is a fantastic example of a company that truly lives its values and people love them for it. Third, hire slowly and carefully. Don't build a big team just for the sake of it. And finally, and maybe most importantly, build something you actually care about. That passion is the secret sauce to building a business that lasts.
And all of these ideas, from ditching the business plan to building an authentic culture, they're all built on one final, crucial principle. Done is better than perfect. That's the mantra of ReWork. Don't be afraid to launch something that isn't quite finished. Get it out there into the real world, get feedback from actual users, and then make it better. It's the exact same iterative approach that companies like Google use with their beta products, and it's how you build something that people actually want and will use.
So, what can we take away from all of this? How do we put these radical and, frankly, pretty common sense ideas into practice?
Look, ReWork is more than just a business book. It's a manifesto for a new way of working. It's a guide to building a business and a life that's more efficient, more creative, and ultimately more fulfilling. It's really about finding a better way to work and proving that you don't have to kill yourself to build something amazing.
So that's ReWork. It's a book that will absolutely make you question everything you thought you knew about how work gets done. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. What's the one traditional rule you're ready to break tomorrow?